Hi, this is French with Kate Languages. If you've purchased the full lesson, you should have been able to download the PowerPoint that I'm going to talk us through in this lesson. If you're listening to the free content on the podcast, or if you're watching the free video on YouTube and you would like to access the full lesson and the PowerPoint, head over to katelanguages.co.uk/courses, where you'll be able to purchase the lesson and then download the full video and the PowerPoint. If you don't want to do that and you're enjoying my free content and would like to support me anyway, then please head over to buymeacoffee.com/katelanguages, where you can show me your support for all of my free content. So today we're going to be talking about ER verbs, so French ER verbs. So this is the most common type of regular verb in French, and we're just going to go through the verb endings, and there's an exercise to practice the verb endings, and then a bit of production active work for you to create some sentences for yourself using ER verbs. So the endings of the ER verbs in French, as you'll find in German and Spanish, and indeed other languages that you may know, we have different endings on that we add onto the stem of a verb, which are really, really important to show us who is doing the actual verb. So the verb we've got here is regarder, regarder, which means to watch. And to create the conjugation in the present tense, we take off the ER and we are left with the stem. So the stem here is regarde. And then our endings that we add for je, which means I, is an E. Okay, so I watch, or I'm watching. So just a really quick note on this, actually, in French we don't have a continuous tense. So if you want to say I'm watching TV right now, you just say je regarde la télé maintenant, en ce moment. Maintenant means now, and en ce moment means at the moment. So yeah, a little aside there, really, really important. And I think if you're a teacher who's learning this and who's watching this and thinking about how you're going to teach it, I think that's a really, really important thing to put forward to students right from the beginning. So when you're doing the present tense, things like this, so je regarde, I watch, or I'm watching. Okay, tu regardes, it's pronounced exactly the same, but we have an S on the end. So if you've downloaded and listened to my silent letters lesson, you'll know that there are lots of silent letters on the end of ends of French words, and S is a very common one. So this tu regardes ends in ES, but it's pronounced the same. So je regarde, tu regardes, which means you watch or you are watching, and the tu is for one person and it's familiar. So if you speak German, it's the equivalent of du, and if you speak Spanish, it's the equivalent of tu. If you don't speak either of those, it's when you're talking to one person and it's familiar. So somebody you know really, really well, or someone who's younger than you as well. Okay, il, elle, on regarde. Again, it's pronounced the same, and it's spelled the same as the je. So il is he, elle is she, and on is we. It's a common form of we. It tends to be a bit more spoken. So the next one, nous, also means we, and it's a bit more formal and a bit more written. But on, is much more commonly used, really, especially in spoken French. And on can also mean one, or like, so in English we would say you. So so not like when you're specifically speaking to a person, when you talk about like you in general in English. So like the in German we say like man. In Spanish, it would then tend to be a passive, and actually on can be used as a passive as well. So on regarde could be a passive, but let's not worry about that for now. So il, he, elle, she, on, we, or you, like a general you. Regarde, so watches or is watching. So as we can see here, we've got e, es, and e as our first three endings for the singular, but they're all pronounced exactly the same. Okay, so je regarde, tu regardes, il, elle, on regarde. All exactly the same. For the nous, which as I've said before is we, but it's a slightly more formal, you're more likely to say it in written French. The ending is ons, and it's pronounced on. So we've got a silent S again. So nous regardons. We watch, we are watching. Nous regardons. For the vous form, it ends in EZ. Regardez. And this vous is formal, singular, and plural, regardless of how well you know the people. So as a teacher, if you're speaking to a whole class, even though they're all younger than you use vous because it's a group of people. And also if you're then going to go and speak to the head teacher or somebody, and with adults who don't really know each other too well, you use vous as well. So vous regardez, and you've got a lovely silent Z on the end here as well. And then the last one, il and elle, regarde, ENT. But our N and our T are both silent. So, il regarde, they are watching or they watch, which is a group of males or a group of mixed male and female. Elle is a group of females. So, il regarde, elle regarde. So there's a really interesting thing here that in the je, tu, il, elle, on, and il and elle, with an S, the verb is actually pronounced exactly the same, but we have to remember how to spell it differently. So it's great for speaking because you don't really need to think about it too much. I just say regarde. But for writing, it's much more important that you need to know how to spell it. And if you're a Spanish person or Spanish speaker, and you're thinking, oh, do I need the pronouns? Yes, you do. So the subject pronouns are needed in French, apart from obviously if you want to change, like interchange them with a name or something like that. So instead of il, you could say Bob. So Bob regarde la télé. You don't need to say Bob il. That'd be weird. Well, it does happen in spoken French, but like, again, won't worry about that too much. So yeah, all right, so I'm going to go through them all again. The pronunciation, you can repeat after me. Je regarde, tu regardes, il, elle, on regarde, nous regardons, vous regardez, il, elle regarde. And that is to watch. Such as la télé, which is the TV. I hope you enjoyed that free sample of this lesson on ER verbs. And if you would like to purchase the full lesson, as I said at the start, you can go to katelanguages.co.uk/courses, and it is French lesson number 4, ER verbs. And if you don't want to do that, but as I said before, if you would like to support me anyway, you can pop over to buymeacoffee.com/katelanguages to buy me a coffee and show me your support for all my free content that I produce. And if you would like to subscribe and rate and review either the podcast or the YouTube video, depending on how you're accessing this, then it just gets it out to more people, and then more people can benefit from learning a little bit of French with me. So merci beaucoup et à la prochaine fois. Au revoir.